Hello and welcome to the European Rugby Champions Cup preview brought to you by DrivingMaul. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, and thank you very much for joining me today. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter down below or subscribe to the YouTube channel because I will be bringing you round by round predictions for this competition, and you don't want to miss out on those and all the rugby chat and banter that will go around it as well. So, this season sees 6 teams from the top 14, 7 from the Premiership and 7 from the Pro 12 battle it out for the European Rugby Champions Cup. Clearly, these are the teams that finished in the top half of their competitions, with the exception, obviously, of Benetton and Northampton Saints. And so these are the best of the best, as it were, and so we should see a good competition from that point of view. Clearly, Benetton are the exception here. This is the last time that Italy will see itself having an automatic team in this competition. With last time we'll have one pool that looks a little bit, or has a bit of an easier ride than the others. So, how do I see it all? So what are we going to do? I'm just going to quickly run you through the list of the teams from each competition that's in it. Then we'll go through pool by pool, and I'll have a quick chat about each of the teams and tell you which ones I think will be qualifying for the quarterfinals. As always, we have 5 pools. The winners of those 5 pools all go through, and then the 3 second best losers go through as well, which is a bit of a guessing work because clearly some groups are trying to figure out who's going to take points off who and who's going to be able to pick up the odd losing point here or there can make the big difference in that bit. So, a bit of guessing work, but hey, you've got to give it a go, haven't you? So, from the top 14, we have Clermont, Toulon, La Rochelle, Racing 92, Montpellier and Castres in there. If we look, some of those teams are doing well again, as you'd expect, and then others, like Castres, are down in 11th place, not going so great. So a bit of a mix up there. In the Premiership, we've got Exeter Chiefs, Wasps, Saracens, Leicester Tigers, Bath, Harlequins and Northampton Saints. And I guess a little bit similar. Again, you've got you'll see many of those teams at the top end, but then you only have Wasps down in 10th currently, not going so well. So so again a good mix on the whole. Your top teams into the Pro 12: Scarlets, Munster, Leinster, Ospreys, Ulster, Glasgow Warriors, and Benetton. Now, clearly Benetton. Benetton have stepped it up this year and have actually got 3 wins and 3 losses from their 6 games. So they're not the worst side from the Pro 12 here. And that actually sits with Ospreys, who have only had 1 win this season. So again, teams going well, such as Glasgow, who are unbeaten, and then 1 or 2 that are struggling as well. So we've seen that basically across the board from all of those, from all the competitions. So let's get into it and let's review the pools. So Pool 1, Wasps, La Rochelle, Ulster and Harlequins. And this is perhaps one of the weaker pools, looking at how the teams are going now. Wasps, as I've already said, down in 10th in the European Premiership with just 2 wins from their 6 games so far, letting in a massive 163 points so far. So clearly, defensively has been a bit of an issue for them. But that's always been Wasps sort of thing. They would normally score a lot of points, but they've only scored 140. Someone like Sale Sharks, for example, has scored 179 already. So things aren't clicking at the moment for Wasps. La Rochelle sat 4th in the French top 14, so going pretty well. 5 wins and 2 losses so far, not so bad for them. And this last year was a bit of a fairy tale story for them, as they did exceptionally well. But they're showing there that was no surprise. Ulster currently sat 2nd in Conference B of the Pro 14 with just 1 loss so far, so 5 wins and 1 loss. But for me, Ulster perennially flatter to deceive and always don't seem to be able to perform in the European competitions. They always seem to let me down, and I think they're going to do better than they will do this year. So my expectations are a bit lower than normal. Harlequins, I think the European Premiership is going to be their main target rather than this competition. Currently sat in 7th with 3 wins and 3 losses. One of those sides that seems to be more impacted by travelling than others, so more of a home than an away team. So it can be hard to beat at home, but I don't think they'll pick up the points on the road really to trouble in this competition. On last season's form, you'd have to say Wasps will be in with a good shout, but on this season's form, they really are struggling. And so with that in mind, and the Ulster, say, every year seem to disappoint in this competition, I've got to say La Rochelle are looking favourites to top this group, and I think the other three will just take points off each other, and so hence not challenge for the quarter-finals. Down into Pool 2, and we have two aristocrats of this competition, two teams that have gone very well year after year recently, Clermont and Saracens in this competition. Saracens already top of the Premiership with 5 wins and just that 1 loss to Bath so far. Clermont, 3 wins and 4 losses, really haven't set the world alight and are perhaps struggling a bit this season, so still trying to find their feet. Not as bad as Ospreys, mind you, who have only had 1 win so far this season. You've got to say they are looking at being the whipping boys of this competition and are going to struggle. And Northampton Saints are going well, surprising a lot of us, stand in 3rd currently in the Aviva Premiership with 4 wins and just 2 losses. You've got to say, I think Saints will be probably targeting the Aviva Premiership more than this competition, because, as I say, they're one of the ones we weren't expecting to perhaps to go so well. It's hard to look past Clermont and Saracens, both making it out of this group. They always seem to perform in Europe. Well, they have done over the past few iterations. Clermont are going to have to step things up from what they're doing domestically currently, but the kind of money that they've got, the names they've got in their squad, you can see that happening. Saracens already looking like that slick oiled machine, will probably win the group, with Clermont coming out second and being one of the best second losers is my thoughts. Going on to Pool 3, and for me this is probably the pool of death within this competition. I mean, there's only one easy pool in this. All the other ones are are all tough pools, but this one, you think Exeter Chiefs, champions of the Premiership, this will be the first. This will be a time when they get an easier pool and look to crack on. And who they end up with? Leinster, who already going well in the season, only lost once so far, always go well in Europe. Montpellier, they have picked up a couple of losses, but we're looking magnificent early doors. Again, a host of international stars in that team. And then Glasgow Warriors, 6 wins, no losses so far this season, going fantastically. So, and a team that's been looking at making an imprint in Europe for a couple of seasons now. Obviously, Dave Rennie is the new coach there. So this, to me, is an extremely tight pool. It could go anyway. They're all very good teams, and because of that, there's I can only see one team coming out of this group, and they're just going to take points off each other. And I think Glasgow are looking the slickest so far. Do they have the squad depth later on? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm backing Glasgow, I think, to come out of this one out of what is, I think, is a very tough pool. Into Pool 4, Munster, Racing 92, Leicester Tigers, Castres Olympique. Now, Castres, as I've already said, are struggling in the top 14, and their focus will be entirely on avoiding relegation. Expect to see some pretty weakened sides coming out in this competition. Racing 92, not another, it's a bit like Clermont, struggling to find their feet at the moment. 3 wins and 4 losses. They have picked up 4 bonus points along the way, but I still say they're going to have to step things up if they're going to go well in this competition. And then Leicester Tigers, who initially we thought who initially struggled, but seem to have got things on track. 4 wins and 2 losses. I think they have 2 losses with the first opening 2 games of the season. But are they looking at domestic glory again? And they are one of the European aristocracy from historically, along with someone like Toulon. But it's been a while since they've challenged at the top end. Personally, I can see Munster coming through this one. They always do. They're one of those teams that always goes well in Europe, even if they have picked up a couple of losses already this season. And then I think Racing, I've just spent too much money, got too many names not to get out of this group. So those are the 2 teams I think will get out. But Leicester Tigers are credible challengers there and could definitely do it. Castres, I think, will be a bit of a whipping boy in this one. Finally, Pool 5, the easiest pool of the round of the group, because they've got Benetton in there. Even though Benetton are looking better this season and have picked up 3 wins and 3 losses, those 3 wins are what they normally pick up in a season, so they're going very well for them. But they are Challenge Cup level; they're not Champions Cup level. Scarlets, champions of the Pro 14, have won 5 of their games. They lost 1, going exceptionally well. Toulon, 4 wins, 3 losses, a bit up and down for them. Again, another French side, another French big money spending side that's struggling to find their feet. Bath, 4 wins and 2 losses, very up and down. Can beat Saracens on their day, but have lost other games that you'd think they would win. So they're not really got the consistency. I think with that, Scarlets have got that consistency, so I think they'll pull through. And I think Toulon as well. I've got too much European pedigree not to pull through, and so much money and too many names. So those are the sides I expect to get through to the quarterfinals: La Rochelle, Clermont, Saracens, Scarlets, Toulon, Glasgow, Munster, and Racing at 92, in no particular order. So let me know your thoughts. Always up for good rugby chat. Do leave them comments down below. As I say, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter to get all my predictions throughout the season, and do share this, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff, and catch you next time.